Klock's lawyers are making a big push for Flock to be released in 2025. We even got an update from Flock himself through a phone call from inside, giving us a look at where he's at right now.
I know what's going on, man. Flock, I know something, man. Like, please leave to the guys, man. Hey, yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, bro. Like,
get money.
You know, man, I'll see you real soon.
This morning, it was announced that Flock's team put in a bond request in court. He's been locked up since 2021, and now his lawyers are worried about what's going on inside the jail. They mentioned in court that inmates are targeting him for money, snacks, and commissary items, which has led to him getting into several fights. It's similar to what YNW Melly went through, and Charleston White recently commented on Melly's situation. He said he's actually glad Melly's being mistreated in jail, claiming that when you take someone's life, you shouldn't expect to be treated well. Flock's time in jail is directly tied to the serious charges he's facing, but his lawyers believe there's a chance he could be released soon, according to new court documents. The filings from December 23, 2021, explain that Flock, whose real name is Kevin Perez, was involved in the tragic death of Oscar Hernandez. The incident happened while he was walking with two people down the street and passed by a barber shop. Flock was wearing a blue jacket and a SHYY mask at the time. As Flock walked past the barber shop, Oscar Hernandez noticed him and shouted, "What are you looking at?" This led to a heated argument between the two right there on the street. After yelling back and forth for a while, Hernandez started to walk back toward the shop. But Flock wasn't done and pulled out a gun from his waistband, shooting at Hernandez. He hit him in the neck and back. Soon after, multiple 911 calls flooded in. When paramedics and police showed up, they rushed Hernandez to the hospital, but he sadly passed away soon after. All that was left at the scene were shell casings from Flock's gun and the slides Hernandez had been wearing. At first, police didn't know who the masked man was, so they shared a photo of the suspect, asking for help in identifying him. Fans recognized Flock almost immediately, not just because of his face, but because he had posted a photo earlier that day showing off a $4,000 outfit on Instagram, which made it easy to spot him. After the police were alerted, they issued a warrant for Kevin Perez. Realizing they had figured out who he was, Flock used his final moments of freedom to hire one of the best lawyers. He then walked right into the NYPD's 30th precinct. Flock's lawyer shared a statement yesterday saying, "I went with Kevin as he turned himself into detectives at the 30th precinct. Once we found out he was wanted, we worked with the NYPD to make sure everything was set up. As for the charges, we've already started looking into them." This morning, the district attorney dropped a big update, saying the NYPD got a tip that someone else might actually be the shooter. Flock's lawyers are now asking the district attorney's office to release the videos mentioned in the complaint. They plan to discuss bail after they've had time to look over everything and investigate this new info. Klock's lawyer has gone through all the evidence the feds have, and he believes Flock acted in self-defense.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. We consider that to be self-defense.
So he did take him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case,
Okay.
But the government claims that he pulled the... But at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a illegal loaded, apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
That could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull it.
The NYPD thinks the incident happened because of Flock's ties to a Bronx-based street team. He has a history of street-related actions, and since he's a big name in New York's street scene, he often found himself in control of many situations, making him a major target for his rivals when they wanted to retaliate. The NYPD seems to be using his street connections to damage his reputation in this case. But we also heard from Flock's best friend, who shared this. I saw some fans getting upset with both me and academics after K got locked up. I guess it's because of how we talked about it. Maybe we seemed a bit too sure of things, but does that feel weird to you? I'm sure you've seen it, people, from rappers to others, acting like your boy's finished, like there's no way out. It's wild how many people have no idea what's actually going on. K Flock's lawyers think that claiming self-defense is his best chance to get out. They're confident they can win the case and have him released in the next few months, maybe by 2025. Rappers have been reacting to K Flock's case, and one of them shared his thoughts. It's crazy, man. He's the next big artist from New York. I love FL, that's my guy. Right now, I'm just wishing him the best. With all the charges they're putting on him, I'm hoping for the best for his family and his whole team. I'm really hoping he can beat those charges. He said, the guy's got a lot of potential, so much ahead of him. I just hope everything works out, you know? It's a reminder for the young ones how quickly things can change. It'd be a real sad story if this is how it ends, but we're not thinking that way. We've got to stay positive. While K Flock's team was working on his defense, it was revealed the next week that he had been indicted by a federal grand jury on new charges, including racketeering conspiracy, also known as RICO. When the charges came out, fans and people in the hip-hop world started getting worried. One person said, K Flock just caught a RICO, it's over. DJ Academics also shared his thoughts, saying, the feds just unsealed an indictment on K Flock for a RICO charge. If he doesn't beat these charges or cooperate, he's looking at life in prison. And he's still facing state charges, so he's locked up. Pray for him. This has a lot of people talking, saying it's part of a pattern of the feds targeting rappers, kind of like what Boozy said about YNW Melly's case, saying they'll go after artists like this. When they want you, someone said. I knew they were coming for him when they waited for that law to pass. They waited until it was in place, then took him to trial. He was locked up for 2, maybe 3 years. They could have taken him to trial way earlier, but they held off until the law passed and then took him a few months later. When they want you, man. I just don't get how he didn't get bond after all that. When the RICO charges came down on K Flock, his lawyers were thrown off. They released a statement saying, we're not shocked by the federal charges, since we've been dealing with Kevin's state charges for over a year now. The incident was clearly an act of self-defense, so the charge isn't as serious as it might seem. What's really surprising is that they're using it as the foundation for a possible penalty. The video shows Kevin trying to walk away from the situation, but only after that, when he was about to be attacked, did he respond. K Flock used an item to protect himself and someone else from a rival who was about to pull a weapon. The video from the scene clearly shows Oscar Hernandez reaching into his pocket right before K Flock acted. Since K Flock was in a neighborhood with rival street members, he was likely on high alert and fearing Oscar might pull something on him. But with the RICO case, the authorities are pulling out all the stops to gather evidence against him, as we've seen. DJ Academic shared that K Flock's co-defendant, Sticky, was asked to snitch on Flock. But Sticky didn't back down. He told them, I'll see you in 30 years. He even posted a picture on Instagram saying, did stuff at Rolling Loud together. Guess we've got to defend our freedom together too. It's clear Sticky's sticking by his friend, showing some serious loyalty. But there are still at least 15 others in the case who will have their own decisions to make. The feds will try to get people to snitch in this case, but most team members probably won't be willing to take a 30-year sentence. It's likely they'll try to make a deal. This situation is kind of like what happened with Lil Durk, where rumors spread about people snitching on him, but they turned out to be false. For example, Lil Durk found out that his co-defendant, OTF Boney, requested protective custody when they were both in court recently. Durk's friend, Besso, reacted to this on IG Live, saying, I don't know what's going on, but those people in the courtroom, man. The feds are doing everything they can to get people to snitch in this case. But most of the team probably won't want to serve 30 years, so they'll likely try to strike a deal instead. It kind of reminds me of what happened with Lil Durk, when rumors about people snitching on him started going around. but it turned out those reports were false. For example, Dirk found out his co-defendant, OTF Boney, had asked for protective custody when they went to court together. This made Dirk's friend, Besso, speak up on IG Live, saying, "I don't know what's going on, but those people in the courtroom, man." Finally, we got a glimpse of Flock's life behind bars when he FaceTimed some of his friends on the outside. It's unclear how he managed to get a phone, but it was good to see him doing okay for now. He mentioned having enough commissary money to get the things he needs while locked up. However, some fans noticed he seemed a little different, not as confident as the Flock they're used to seeing. The call only lasted around 20 seconds, so it was brief, and I can't share the video because of copyright issues. But these photos give us a hint of what he's going through and how he's feeling about his case.